I don't do no buy. No buy is really hard to do, but low buy is a very helpful framework. There's such an oversaturation of stuff, a lot of cheap stuff. And in order to access that stuff, it's also very easy. You log on Amazon, eBay, Poshmark, Depop. You get on a YouTube and someone has a link down there. A lot of videos about like things I'm not buying for 2025 and all these things. But there's no context for their lifestyle. But I think as someone who is not an influencer, I think it's important to talk about like intentional consumption and then also give some context for like what I am. So first of all, I'm a single person. I live in a house with my sister. We like share a home. I'm just learning my own relationship with money and all of those things. I'm self-employed. I work as a consultant for community organizations. Saying all that to say, this list might look very different for different people. Sometimes these videos come off as very like instructional, right? Without really providing context of your own lifestyle and like what you are doing and what you are capable of doing. There's also people who have disabilities or family dynamics that might require some of these things. I just want to say, I don't want to limit, but rather I want to be able to question the value of some of these things. It's really important to be very mindful of what we're consuming, especially under capitalism. There's no like one way of existing under capitalism because we all have different expectations by the world, by our families, and our own expectations. Let's get into it. These are the 10 plus things that I don't want to buy in 2025, knowing that anti-capitalism behaviors for me are about intentional consumption, not putting rules that other people have to follow. Face mask is a thing that I haven't bought in a while. My skin is definitely sensitive and I think it has gotten way more sensitive over the years. Face masks for me feels like an aesthetic marker than an actual usable stuff for my skin. And I don't want to be putting stuff on my skin that I don't know if it's going to make an impact. It's just a trendy thing. So with that, I guess trendy skincare or skincare just to try. I know at this point what skincare works. Instead of a face mask, I rather buy an AHA, BHA type of formula that I know works for me. So just being able to be aware of myself and like what I buy the things that are sold to me by the aestheticized YouTube or Pinterest. Gym membership, I run. I have a foam roller at home, a kettlebell if I want it. I go for walks. I don't need a gym membership. I've always thought gyms were very dystopian. I don't find it enjoyable. I rather run outside or on the treadmill. I got a treadmill at my house and that makes a lot of things easier. I think vibrators have become another marker of self-care, especially, I don't know, in the last 3-4 years, I see so many influencers talking about like, guys, you gotta self-care, you gotta take care of yourself. And I have the vibrators that I have. That's about it. At least for 2025. I don't need anything unless something incredible, mind-blowing is gonna come up in 2025. I don't need it. I'm good. A couple of years ago, a friend of mine recommended the reusable tampon. I mean, not tampons. I don't use tampons, but I do use the reusable pads. It's a little bit of work because you have to wash it, you have to keep it clean and all that. I don't mind that because it saves money. It's also good for the environment, but that's another thing. I don't want to talk about personal responsibility on this video at all. I have tried like Diva Cup and stuff and I have those. My friend gave me a Cora. I don't think it works for me. Without talking about this too much, but like my flow is very inconsistent and sometimes it's really heavy and I need something that can absorb. Jewelry should be sentimental and I'm at a point where I have too many. Also, I love when jewelry has meaning behind it, and instead of like buying jewelry just because, I used to do this thing where I would go somewhere and I would just buy jewelry and I would forget where I even got it. So there was no like intention around how I was consuming jewelry. I love when jewelry has like, oh, this was my aunt, she gave it to me when I was in this place. Like I love all items that have stories, but like jewelry specifically is something that's very important to me, and buying it just because doesn't seem like the right move. No. I don't have my nails done. I cut them up, and not because I don't like long nails, but because I get like overstimulated when something is on my nails. I'm getting my nails done next week and I'm already dreading it. My friend and I are going to kind of mark the new year. Might just get like some polish and that might call it a day. I don't know. I think I'm at a point where I'm just like, I garden, I work a lot with my hands, and somehow putting on more things on my nails, also like the plastic and the press on nails, I don't know what's in there sometimes. Like the chemical kind of scare me a little bit, But if I do need it for an occasion or something, I'll get it done, or I'll do it because I have like so many already. There was like a black owned makeup that just went out of business recently, unfortunately, after 10 years. And my sister and I bought like basically everything that we were run out of. So I don't think we were gonna need new makeup for about a year. Maybe foundation. Not a good makeup person. I want to be, but I love blush. I like eyeliner. Those are like my jams, and those are things that it will probably last me for another 8 months. So I'm good. I don't want to buy anything that's reusable. If I have it in the house, a container, fork, or any of those, like there's no reason for me to be buying reusable forks or reusable chopsticks. I fell into that trap a couple of years ago when I was really into like the zero waste, like, you know, cultural reset thing. But what I've noticed is that a lot of the stuff it's just like greenwashing so much that you are just buying these accessible products just because. I have forks. I can just wrap it in like a little cloth or something, or put it in my bag. Water bottles is another thing I'm not buying. I have enough. They're not the cutest thing. There's no reason for me to run out and buy the most like trendy water bottle, because I don't think it gives my life any meaningfulness. So like the water's not gonna taste better. I don't know. Area actually was said that there was lead in our water, so my sister and I ended up buying a Brita filter. So we already have a Brita filter. We put that in our water bottle. We put that in a glass. There's water. Majority of the world doesn't, even in the United States, doesn't have access to clean water. So the fact that I have clean water is enough. I also lived in a place where clean water was not accessible for many, many, many years. And this itself is like a privilege. And for me to worry about what vessel the water is going to come out, to me sounds like first world problems that I'm not really interested in. I love fashion. I am going to say anything that's new, fast fashion material. I'm very selective these days about the type of materials that my body touches, because I can actually feel it. Like, I'm very sensitive. So polyester is a no-go. Even when I'm thrifting, and thrifting can sometimes be an excuse to overconsume and not consume with so much intentionality, because you're kind of like, well, like I'm doing the planet a favor because I am at the thrift store instead of like at H&M or Forever 21. But the reality is, the majority of those things are probably going to end up in the landfill. If you don't need it, don't buy it just because it's like $3, $4. I am really subscribing by that manual. I think that's really important for me. This is my sister's. I can tell it's polyester because she bought this like many, many years ago when we were in New York, and it was like really cold and she didn't have any jacket or anything. Time it was like so soft and fluffy, and like a couple of years later, it doesn't feel good. It does not feel good. A lot of this material has plastic in it. It doesn't even feel good when you wear it. I mean, it looks cute, but you would not know if I didn't tell you. I'm a serial hobbyist. This year I've tried so many things. I've learned mushroom harvesting. I've learned how to decoupage and like create a zine. So I buy stuff in order to fulfill those things, especially when they have something to do with video equipment or camera stuff. I'm gone. I have enough cameras. Like, this is the most recent purchase I made. This is this Olympus camera. It's a digital camera and I love it, but I got it because I got this grant for the documentary that I'm making. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna treat myself. It wasn't like that bad. It was like $40, but it was on eBay, so it was secondhand, which is good, but I still don't think that's like a good enough reason. I have to think about it at least for 3 months. Yeah, so my goal is to deepen my current hobbies and my current items that I already own, learn how to do a lot of the stuff with this camera. I have another Fuji camera that I got a couple of years ago. There's a lot of stuff I don't know about that camera. I have a handy cam, like a Sony hand cam. I want to learn everything about that camera. Unless I deepen my current hobbies, things that I've been hyper fixated on, and like dropping that. Or even another thing is like crochet. I got a bunch of yarns from like a local yarn place, and I like justified it's a local yarn place, so it's like fine. But the reality is I didn't touch it since like the summer. I'm really interested in crocheting, but I like drop it as soon as I find something to purchase or like participate in. This is something I haven't done in like over a year and a half. New planners or journals for the new year. I've been using the stuff that I've already had, which is crazy because the last time I bought journals was when I was Muji 2 years ago. Those are the journals I'm still going through. The pens, the same thing. I have a stationery problem, and sometimes we kind of like make a hobby choice when it's really like a consumerist choice. I'm not planning to purchase any new books. I get all my books in my Kindle. I don't get it from Amazon. I get it from my library, and then I just put it on here. My sister has an iPad, or I read it on there if I can't get it on like a Kindle. And then we have 3 libraries near me, so I go to those. I'm not in a rush to find any new books. I have a book desire, and I'm like, I can't find it anywhere. This happened with this book, The Queer Art of Failure. I could not find it anywhere. The places I found it, it was $89. I got on eBay, found it for $13. And I thought it was a scam at first, but then eventually like it came, and I was like, that's amazing. But it took like over 2 months to go through that process and think through, and then finally found it on eBay. But that doesn't often happen. You know, this is one of those books. I can usually find it in the library. I can find it at a secondhand book store or anything else like that. I've also found a ton of these books, for instance, from the free libraries, the mini libraries near me. I live in like the city, so there's just a lot of resources. Share economy is another thing. A lot of my friends, a lot of my community have like books that I already think about, so I message everyone and I say, does anyone have this book? I kind of have to explore those options before I go purchase something recommended by an influencer. I just won't do it. There was that plasterable like poster website, HelloFresh. I've tried everything. It was me in 2023 or something, even 2020 when, you know, Panini was here. I feel like if an influencer's relationship to me is based on consumerism, then our values are in misalignment. And for me, it is time to find a new creator. So there's that. I also don't really follow a lot of influencers and lifestyle content creators. Follow a lot of people that talk about like de-influencing and like low-buy life philosophy. And I have some like makeup like drama people, because you know the internet is supposed to be multifaceted. New tech, I have no need to buy new tech. I was thinking about like a new mic a couple of days ago, the Rode mics, and I was like, I have the Samsung mic, I have a tiny mic, why do I need another one? Oh, it's because I saw it on a content creator who was making a video outside, and I was like, oh, it'd be nice to kind of have a video equipment when you're outside. It's like wireless or whatever. I was just making all these justifications. I don't need it. I just don't. I want to get better knowing the existing tech that I have and actually create with it, instead of like trying to find something to buy, which is often the trap of capitalism. Household is another thing that is really hard for me sometimes, especially when I go to the thrift store. Trendy new glassware. I'm on Pinterest, so that's a very dangerous place. Kitchenware, all of that stuff. I'm just like, oh, I've seen this cocktail glass for hosting. I don't really host a lot of parties, so it's like, why do I need this? All our glasses have broken in our house, so like our drinking glasses. So now we have mason jars that have turned into glasses. That's a glass. It's a vessel. Drinking that. There's some aesthetic, you know, and people would probably think like you're an adult, like get you like a real set of glass. Why do I have to do that? Maybe I'll go to the thrift store and find something that I love and get it at some point. I really want like wine glasses. Like besides that, I don't really have a desire to do that because it doesn't change the content of what I'm consuming. New mugs. We have so many mugs that we've gotten over the years. I don't need it unless someone gives me as a gift or something. There's no need for me to buy new mugs. I have an obsession with mugs. Like FYI, I drink a lot of tea, a lot of coffee. It's like nice to have these all types of like random mugs, and for me to find some sort of joy in that. I have to break that away from like consumerism. I can still enjoy my teas and my coffees and my lattes away from consumerism and buying something new. This is a trap that I fell into in 2020, which is like appliances that make things easy. One item use thing. In 2020, one of the best decisions I've made is buying an air fryer and an immersion blender. We make a lot of soups. We also are very busy. It makes sense to use those things. We're still using them 4 years later. The rest of the stuff I've either given away on Buy Nothing or given it to friends or have sold it. First of all, it's clutter, right? At a point where I'm just like, if something is like making me have more of a headache than it's actually being useful to me, needs to go. I thought about getting a popcorn machine a couple of years ago because we would have these like movie nights or something, and I was like, we can just make popcorn on the pot. I've seen people do it and it's really easy. All you need is oil and gas. That's it. And salt maybe, or cinnamon, or caramel. Organizing stuff, those acrylic things, anything that is like supposed to make your life easier in some way, it didn't exist 2-3 years ago. I think the acrylic storage obsession is insane to me. I almost fell into it in 2020, 2021 when everybody was spending too much time in the house. I was like, oh, let me make it all glass and like I can see everything and I could have my drinks be dispensed. We don't even have drinks like that. But I was just like, yeah, like one day could come in handy. I'm so glad I didn't fall into that. I have mason jars and stuff that I have used to put like lentils, like dry goods and stuff. That's amazing. But that's something I can make. It's like a pasta jar or something. You can clean it up, put some baking soda so you can remove the label, and good as new. You have a brand new container. So yeah, those are the things that I will not be buying for 2025. But things I will be buying are reasonable concerts. So Kendrick and SZA are coming, but I'm not gonna go to the one here, or I thought I'm not going to. The concert is incredibly unreasonable. Everywhere it's sold out. Arlington was like the one that wasn't sold out, but it was still like unreasonable. And I went back and forth with myself and I was like, no. However, I am going to smaller concerts in 2025. Performers that I really, really want to see, not because everybody is seeing them. I kind of have to ask the question, do I really want to see this artist so that I can say that I saw them? I've seen Kendrick before. I've seen SZA before. So like for me, that was a very like fast elimination. I was like, I don't need to see them. Like, it's fine. I decided to not use that money for that and let it sit in my bank account. I'm planning at least 2 to 3 travels in 2024, which is hard to do, but I feel like if I save my money properly and still work with the 2 jobs that I have and, you know, try to kind of create like a very budget itinerary, which is something that I'm very good at. Let me know if you're interested in that, by the way. I feel like I've been traveling since I was 18 and I've been creating itineraries and travel under whatever the pricing range is. In April, I will be heading to an international trip that is like 3 weeks long, and it's like that's my PTO for work, which is really nice. And then in the summer, I will be doing one trip, like a smaller trip, and then in the winter, I will be doing another international trip. It's like that's like related to family, hopefully, because I think for me, saving all the money that comes from all of these things that I mentioned, and for it to go to an experience that I will be experiencing with my sister, is so much more valuable than having like a nicer glass or a newer camera. Another thing that I feel good about spending money on is tattoos. I have a lot of tattoos, and so the tattoos is one of those things that made me love my body deeply. Someone who had ED growing up, I feel like tattoos is one of my love languages to myself, to be like, hey, you deserve this. I don't know what they will be, but I will definitely spend money on tattoos. I have my tattoo girl, and I have another person that is a friend of a friend who is amazing. I will be spending money on that. Going out with friends. I value community deeply, and these days everything costs $100 just to see your friends eye to eye, and you just Venmo $100. Basically trying to be creative so that I don't have to spend so much money. But if it's like we're having dinner or something somewhere, I'm not gonna pinch pennies so that I can and kind of like forego that experience just because I want to save, I don't know, $40 or something. I think I'm at a point in my life where I feel good about that. 2 days ago, I went to a concert that is someone that I've been listening to since I was a child, basically. He came in my city and we went out with my friends and we had dinner, we had whatever, all these things. And when I tell you, like, I spent so much money, but like, I had a moment of like regret. I'm like, oh, I should, like, this money should go to this. I'm like, no, this feels like meaningful, and it like fulfills me in the long term as well, in the short term as well as in the long term. I feel good about that, I guess. What is your low buy year looking like? Let me know in the comments or any other way, or send a pigeon. Bye.